Welcome to Rob on Holiday. Today we're in Trentham Gardens near Stoke-on-Trent in Staffordshire, and we're going to explore these beautiful gardens and see what else they have to offer. Trentham Gardens is a visitor attraction in the village of Trentham in Staffordshire. It's home to luscious Italian gardens, a large lake, over 700 acres of woodland, and even a small shopping village at the entrance. We recently visited Trentham Gardens for the first time and can't believe we haven't been here before. So in this video, we're taking you with us on our trip to show you why Trentham Gardens is a great day trip for families in Staffordshire. Tickets here at Trentham Gardens are £13 for adults, which, given the extensive gardens, I think is pretty good value. And you can book it in advance, and then you can show it on your phone and just walk straight through without queuing up at the ticket desk. So I definitely recommend that. And of course, we always start off with a cafe visit, and it's very humid today, so caramel iced latte will go down nicely. Suitably refreshed, we're starting the main part of our visit to Trentham Gardens in the Italian garden, and I have to say, just walking around this, it's absolutely beautiful, looking out over the grasses and the fountains and the lovely laid out gravel paths that you can walk around, and then the view down to the lake. It really is quite an extensive garden, so looking forward to exploring the rest of it now. The Italian gardens are the highlight of a visit to Trentham. More than 80,000 plants are arranged in colourful displays across this beautifully landscaped area. It's the perfect place for a relaxed stroll, taking in the views of the lake. The hall here at Trentham has a long history, but it was abandoned as a residence in the early 1900s. You look at here, this is all that remains of the grand entrance hall. Really sad actually seeing it derelict and in such a state, but apparently through the 20th century it was kind of, I remember coming here in the 70s as a kid, it was kind of like an amusement place, but then it was bought by the original owner, the current owner, in 1996, and since then it's been developed into what you see now, which is a beautiful Italian gardens and parkland. But it's interesting seeing a few of the abandoned buildings around here. We'll put some more on after. Now, I said earlier that it's sad to see an old building fall into disrepair, but I've got to admit that there's something epic and atmospheric about this section of the building that's left. The faded plasterwork and peeling plaster, you know, plants growing out the side, but it's kind of an awesome sight. It's like some post-apocalyptic site, but just seeing it up here, it's still impressive despite the dereliction of it. I love this covered part of the walkway here, and what's really interesting, obviously you've got trees above, but obviously what the gardeners have done, they've sculpted out one side of the trunk on each side. They've cut all the branches off and obviously trimmed all the leaves, and it's almost like being inside a dome. The outside is rough and the leaves everywhere, and it's really smooth on the inside. Don't know whether you can see that on the camera, but we're trying to capture it. I was going to say we've walked down into the centre of the Italian garden, but in truth it's a symmetrical garden. There's a fountain on this side and a similar fountain on that side, but you walk down the gravel path and there's wild grasses and flowers. It's beautifully cultivated. You come out side of the fountain here. I just absolutely love the way they've done this garden. It kind of has a wild feeling, but obviously there are paths and it's manicured in a way, so really nicely done garden. Now this sits at the head of the Italian garden. It's the statue of Perseus with the head of Medusa, original sculpture by Benvenuto Cellini in Florence, and this is obviously a copy, but it's a great statue, really iconic, head of the Medusa there, and it sits at the head of the lake looking out over here at Trentham. After exploring the Italian gardens, we headed over to the lake to board the Miss Elizabeth for a boat tour across Trentham Lake. The tour costs an additional £3 per person, which I think is a great deal. The tour takes around 30 minutes and sees you traverse the entire mile-long lake, passing by several islands inhabited by local wildlife. We took the boat one way and then made the mile-long walk back to the main area of the gardens. This is really good as well, just walking along the paths and coming across something you didn't expect to see. There was an old tree trunk. When you look close, it's got otters carved into it. Absolutely beautiful carving. In addition to the boat ride, you can also go on a mini train which runs along a narrow gauge track alongside the lake here. It's only £2.50 return. The train's beside me here, you can see it, and what you can see by the configuration, you basically have to sit astride it like a motorbike, so maybe it's not for the faint-hearted, although I'm sure it's not fast. We're not going to go on this today, but we thought we'd show you while we were passing. After all that walking, it was time for a light lunch, and we decided to sample the cafe scones, which were great. Also keep an eye out for the summer concert series here at Trentham Gardens. They have various shows on throughout the summer, so depending on what you like, just keep an eye out and you might find something they held on the stage here. So that was our day at Trentham Gardens. I have to say I've really enjoyed it. No doubt the highlight of the Italian gardens, which you can see behind me, and I also enjoyed seeing the ruins of the old Trentham Hall. It's very interesting to see the history of the place. And of course you've got the wonderful lake with the statue of Perseus and the head of Medusa at the head of it, and then you've got the train and the boat itself running down the lake. So there's plenty to do and plenty to see. Now, we often criticise a lot in the UK for things that cost a lot of money and you get very little, but I would say the £13 per adult to come in Trentham Gardens works out at really good value. Yes, you have to pay a little extra for the boat and the train, but even adding that on, it's terrific value for what you get when you visit here, and you can spend a whole day here and really enjoy it. Thanks for watching Rob on Holiday. We hope you enjoyed our video showing Trentham Gardens. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments box below and we'll be happy to answer them. If you really enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to our channel. It really helps us. In the meantime, thanks for watching Rob on Holiday, and we'll see you next time.